Hello, my name is Ines and welcome to my channel. This is where we talk about a lot of stuff, especially emotions and spirituality. So, welcome! First off, it's my daughter's first day at daycare and I'm so happy! I've been having a bit of issues getting her in daycare and I think that's where I want to start today's episode. I'm going to be recording a ton because I've been sitting on so much stuff that I wanted to say, but I haven't had a chance to record. So, here we go. First off, as someone who has had a kid, and then as soon as my maternity leave ended, COVID started. Where we lived, there was very expensive daycare and not a lot of work from home or work options. So I had to stay home with my daughter for 3 years. So the first year of her life was maternity leave, and then the next 2 years were just, me staying at home because we couldn't find or afford daycare. So now she's finally in daycare. I did move to more of the suburbs instead of the country, so there's a lot more option here, which I'm so happy about because I feel like she needs her life and her friends, and so do I. And I'd like to address this whole Roe versus Wade thing, this whole women must have children thing. No, having a kid is difficult. Having a kid, another human who cannot make any sort of decisions or choices in their life, dependent on someone, on their parent, is a huge toll on said parent. And I'm very lucky because her dad is an amazing person. He's an amazing father. Him and I, we broke up. We aren't, our relationship did take a lot of stress, a lot of toll, I guess. It's just a weird shadow. But him and I are still on very good terms. We're very good friends. He's an amazing guy, and I still find it difficult. So I can only imagine the moms out there that are completely by themselves, that are very young. I'm in my 30s, and I was like, I'm never having kids. I know that they're stressful. I know that it's not a burden, but it is a whole lot of responsibility, that it can feel like a burden. Anyways, with the amount of difficulties we have just affording things for children, like daycare, I've been trying to apply for subsidy for 2 months now. And every time I apply, they come back to me saying something in the paperwork, there's an error. And I feel like, why are you giving us an option of something cheaper if it's this hard to actually get? It's like you don't want us to have it. I don't understand if the governments want us to have more children and continue having children. Why are you making it so difficult for us to actually raise our children? Why aren't you helping us with food? Why aren't you helping us with daycare? Why aren't you putting our tax dollars into actually helping us raise said children? Also on TikTok, I've been spending a lot of time there, but also on TikTok we started talking about adoption, and I'm learning more about the adoption process, and there's a lot of creators that have talked about being adopted and how that is for them. And I'm just glad everybody's opening up and having these difficult conversations because they need to be had. But that's the other thing. You want children, but you're not doing anything about the children that are already born and alive. And I'm not just talking about the kids in, with the single moms or with parents who can't afford daycare or anything like that. I'm also talking about the children that are in the adoption process, in the foster care homes. They're the ones who are already born, and you can tell that society isn't doing anything to support them. So it's like you want us to have children, but one, you don't even understand how our fucking parts work, and you're not even putting any sort of education or learning or scientific research into women's body parts. but you want to use them to create more children. And then on top of that, the US is having like a huge formula issue. I haven't heard anything about it from the Canada side, so I feel like we're okay for now at least. But like there's stuff about famine starting all over the world. There's women's rights are being taken away. So what makes people think, what makes you government think that we want to bring our children into this world without any sort of security? A lot of the times, the reasons that women choose to have an abortion is because they do not want to bring an innocent child into this fucked up world. We don't want to do that. We spend so much time fighting for our own rights, fighting for our own freedom, fighting against just sexual assault and rape and all of this shit. And then you want us to bring kids into it without any support. You take more of our rights away than you give us, and you expect us to do more for you. And one thing I will say is that I feel the anger of the energy of the women in this world, all women. And there's a lot of men that are just sick of being in that category of men suck. And they're starting to be more outspoken, and I'm so thankful for it. But the fact that the government continues to think that it's allowed to do certain things when the rest of the world is screaming hell no is not okay. So we don't want to bring kids into this world when it's this hectic and evil and there's literally no support. So this is just me bitching and complaining, being a single mom right now. And again, I have an amazing co-partner, co-parent, and it's still hard. So, dear government, start giving us free daycare. Start supporting us with better food. Start at least give us opportunities for not just better employment, but better pay so that we can afford to have and raise children. And I live in Canada, so delivering a child here, sending a child, if my kid has to go to school, if my kid has to go to the doctors or the hospital or anything like that, it's affordable. So I can only imagine what the hell is up with the States. You are not doing anything to persuade women to have more children. All you're doing is pissing us off. And literally, we are on our last string. We are on our last whatever. But like, the way that women continue to be treated and children continue to be treated in this world, we're not having it. Us moms, there's like this inner intuition, this inner dialogue of protect our children, protect all of our children. And in a way, I'm kind of happy that this is happening almost aggressively, because it's just giving women more of a push to fight, more of a push to really get their power back. So yeah, that's my little rant on what it's like to be a mom. There's so much more in there, but I feel like that's just my little rant for now. I had to get that out. All right, next episode, human experience.